the game.
Oh, there's already a turn. Come on. It's like, I mean, as I said before, I often have the impression that these decks, they play like 30 or 40 Ragavan because they always got it on turn one.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't know that if we did, if the player did a mulligan or something like that. But
We can
I
have
mean,
a look at their hands.
that's a great idea.
Roll side. Tristano
Counterspell
has.
popped. They're on top, on the bottom. Sure if this was spell.
He draws here, so he has counter spell.
Cryptic commanded it.
I think he also had a counter spell. Not textless, but only 3 target.
Well, there's not much way more words needed. It's just smashing with Ragavan.
On the other side, Thoughtseize. Flip. Okay, and we see Rage Channeler, and because I saw on the blue side, I saw a counterspell.
He's
Okay, and he good. So the game is already quite underway with the treasure tokens and 2 of the Modern Horizons superstars in play. Yeah, we shall see how Blue Red can deal with that. I think the
Blue Red player really needs an answer or a big threat or something that can block.
now we see his hand. Murktide, Counterspell, Cryptic Command. There's a lot of glare.
Too shiny.
But I think it's an Electrolyze. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it had casting cost 1 red blue, so I guess the Murktide gets dropped to the bin. The Archmage Charm.
Yeah, it's Electrolyze.
This is not ideal. The control player only has 2 lands and will be driven over by land at the very least. But there's a lot of damage that's already done, and both of these cards can play. He drew
land.
But I mean, he's quite far behind. It's difficult. He either go and the opponent does, and
Ooh, there's drowning the loch. I was already thinking, will there be a counterspell or something like that? No, he has
and
only
now
the
we
Grixis
see
colors.
and now we see why he plays this smattering of creatures. He also plays Death Shadow at the little beginning and 13 life, so yet begins by proactively ulting opponent.
But I mean, it's also not bad to have this Death Shadow as a really good backup plan. Things go apart in the future.
This was end of turn, so 13. He draws a land. He play a shadow. His
But
opponent
does
didn't
it actually
react.
make sense to play the Shadow
No, I
now
guess
because he
not.
has also the Drown in the Lock in the hand?
And also his opponent didn't play anything. I okay.
Mage Job.
On the
Ooh!
Dragon Rage channel. Yeah, that. I don't know why he. Yeah.
Archmage.
On upkeep. I don't know if I would have done it like this. I think he had assumed that spells.
Already so much damage going on. There needs to be an answer by the Izzar player. So I mean, well, the Izzar player has some electrolytes in hand, so this
I don't know if the. Yeah, I think the Dragon Rage channel is big. And
let's go.
And
Got
in
one
any case,
shadow.
you are not out of the water if you, even if you can handle all these are big, you're not out of the water because.
And
Okay,
burn
and
spells.
that's it.
And
So,
lightning
yeah,
bolt.
lightning fast first game won by Grixis Shadow. So what does the Grixis player? What does he have in terms of counter spells? He has 3 Drown in the Lock and he has removal spells in Lightning Bolts and Unholy Heats, and he has 7 discard spells. Now, as the Grixis player sideboard, you have 1 Dress Down, 1 Surgical Extraction, 1 Nihil Spellbomb, 2 Explosives, 2 Terminates, 1 Colorgun's Command, 1 Spell Pierce, 2 Flusterstorms, 2 Alpine Moons, and 1 Soul Guide Lantern. I don't know, as the, let's say, aggro control player, I'd board in probably Colorgun's Command because that's again a lot of value. Maybe board in. You might board in a Flusterstorm or a Spell Pierce, but I don't know how good that is.
Well, I think the Soul Guide Lantern, where you can exile Graveyard, so that they cannot play the Murktide region
Or Snapcast.
or Snapcaster.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to go that far and dilute your deck, but I think there's a lot of like long game. There's a lot of stuff in Graveyard. Murktide is just so fast usually. Pity.
Yeah, but he's fast too. He also got the Ragavan, the Darcy.
Yep.
So he really also needs to make pressure at the beginning because the long game it will be a little bit difficult. Well, okay, there's Croxa, but I mean these Murktide regions, they're
And
huge.
Lurus. Yeah, that's true. So I think the only thing that I would board in is Colorgun's Command and maybe some. Yeah, I don't know if I would board in any counter spells. Maybe a Nihil Spellbomb or Sandland. On the other side, on the control side, we have an Abrade, 2 Ethergust, 2 Flusterstorm, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 1 Surgical Extraction, a Shattering Spree, a Shatterstorm, Anger of the Gods, Mystical Dispute, and 2 Engineered Explosives. I think just from the get-go, Engineered Explosives is rather good because he has 12 1-drops and Croxa is a 2-drop. So, yeah, all of the things his opponent plays are extremely down to the ground. And he needs to make sure that he survives the first 5 turns. Adagust, I don't like. Abrade, maybe. That might be good, except that it doesn't kill a Death Shadow, but all the other creatures, except for Croxa, it kills. Don't know, what would you do? Anger of the Gods seems a bit over the.
Doesn't really make sense because you also cannot hit Croxa, for example. Well, we didn't see any Croxa, so we don't know if the opponent knows that there is a Croxa. There are also only 2 Croxas, I guess.
Yeah.
So really nice backup plans. Engineered Explosives, well, if you really want the tempo, it's like losing one turn,
Mhm.
but then you can start again with the tempo and on. I think it's not wrong. Maybe it's not the best.
And maybe take out to chase the Mind Sculptor because
Yeah,
really expensive.
it's super
And
expensive.
maybe also, I don't know if he still wants to play Blood Moon because he might just die in the meantime. Yes, as a removable on the blue red side, he has one Dead Gone, one Electrolyze, one Fire Ice, 4 Lightning Bolt, and yeah, nothing else. One Brazen Borrower, which is kind of a removal, and then a ton of 4 Snapcaster Mages to repeat all of that.
Actually, it's very interesting that because both decks they are really fast. They're super fast, both tempo decks. But both of them have also a really nice long game plan with Kroxa and Lurus, for example, but also with Snapcaster and so on.
Chase,
so
yeah.
really going wide. So both decks have the ability either to be super fast,
But I
really
think
tempo, but also to be very good in the late
yeah,
game.
I think the Murktide deck has more problems because he only plays 2 Murktide regions. So I think he's put on the spot where he has to win 5 minutes.
I
He
see.
has a hard time.
I see. Oh, I thought it wrong. I thought he also plays Ragavan.
No,
Yeah,
he
it's
really
really
is
on the
more
control.
controlish deck.
Yeah,
Let's see if he gets rolled over this once again. Tristano roll deck. Get his spell, Blood Moon, Lightning Bolt,
So
few
there's
lands.
action for turn one Ragavan.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was what was missing last game, and ultimately, which led to his demise.
No, he's not
Untapped,
only in hand.
plays an untapped land, and I think from the Grixis side, we'll one. But it turns out that the Steam Vents isn't even that good. Played untapped. I think very difficult.
It shows that you get a board. And there's again
Ah,
a Ragavan.
Okay, I think he's not very long for this world.
Bubble.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt and Ragavan.
Boom. A question to you. If you get a hand, you get Thoughtseize and you got a Ragavan. What do you play first?
I would. Well, yeah, it's hard. I think in if you know the matchup here, I would.
It's very difficult because you
still
need the
dash.
speed,
Yeah,
but you really also want to.
Ragavan later. I guess it's no good if you play into the full spells of your opponent, because he probably knows that the Ragavan player probably knows that the control deck doesn't have a ton of answers. There's some answers for lightning bolts, but it's very valuable to have something in play survives. On the other hand, whenever you play it, it's not a good time because the opponent still has the lightning bolt. So I guess it makes sense to play it out, and then I'd ask myself if I would leave in Thoughtseize.
It's a fair question. But I think Thoughtseize against control spells is never
an
wrong.
interesting conjecture. If control deck says, yeah, have your cards.
You can counter it later.
Yeah, exactly. And he did board in Flusterstorm. Yeah, I think you have to board in or either keep in the discard or board in something to fight on the stack for your creatures, because as soon the situation we are in now, where he has the control deck has 3 lands, it's very difficult for the tempo deck to play something and get it to stick and get it to survive for one turn. So here's another Ragavan, and yeah,
Monkey never comes.
yeah, let's see how long he is for this world, because on the control side
There could also be an Archmage Charm taking over
Yeah, exactly.
Ragavan. I mean, it's legit to do that.
Yeah, we've seen it in the last or first round, I think, where
Yeah, it took
well,
over Dragon Rage Charm, right?
exactly. So here we see Caster and
Oh,
else?
it's no, not Ifagast.
Is okay. Yeah, so another answer to the
But I was always wondering, is this card really that good that it deserves a spot in the modern meta game? Just
oh
Hmm.
oh. So
Blood Moon.
we have now the mono red player with Ragavan and role player with Islands. So
But this Ragavan
I
is
think
fixing.
it's very difficult to screw somebody who has Ragavan, and we see also Lurus taking it hand now. Yeah, you can do that with colorless land. But now the control deck is set up. Let's say he's only on 15, but he, in theory at least, has what it takes. Let's see if he can last.
It still is a Ragavan on.
Yeah, and Ragavan's really bad if you play Blood Moon because it fixes opponent's mana perfectly, and yeah, there's little way around that. Okay, Ragavan.
So
Maybe here the thought is to play a Snapcaster and then flashback Lightning Bolt or Counterspell.
good idea.
Ah,
Bounce it.
ooh,
Spicy.
much
Brazen
nicer.
Borrower.
That was shift. The tempo player has a lot of mountains. Ragavan. I
So-
guess now's the time where the control deck can really switch gears and just hold open um, one counter spell per turn. Here comes the
Yes.
Ethergust that you about. So I guess from now on there will be no more resolved spells probably, because it's also quite difficult to resolve Lurus if you have no swamps.
No swamp, and you need two of them, so this will be really hard.
Okay.
Oh, Flusterstorm!
Ooh, a little glitch there from the tempo player who revealed that he has Flusterstorm.
Ooh.
Now we shall see how relevant that is. At least his opponent now knows. Ooh.
Counterspell.
Oh, that's a very risky move. With the last blue mana, the shadow player.
Again, Ethergust. I was asking if it's a good or bad card. Oh, it's bad, so it goes down on the bottom.
Yeah, I think now he cannot replay it. So he has basically no more black and blue spells for the rest of foreseeable future. Okay, Snapcaster Mage, flashing back. I don't understand why he taps mana like that.
Because he wants to flash back the counterspell, I
Yeah.
guess. But actually, you could also play the bolt, so
Yeah, I think
and leaving one mana open.
It's a rather greedy play. You could even flashback Adagust and okay. So we're in the same situation again.
But generally,
player says
this is
go.
an amazing game.
Yeah.
So the players, they are really fighting. Even on the one
And
side,
they're
we only
playing
have
quite
mountains.
Yeah, they're playing quite fast, but it doesn't help to overshadow the fact that yeah, the tempo player is really screwed. He has 4 mountains and cannot play a single spell from his hand.
That's brutal. This is the moment where Brazen Borrower should shine.
Okay.
Ragavan again. Oh my goodness.
But I guess now it's too little,
Counts.
too late.
This is over.
Yeah. And that's it. That's how you win a game as the control player.
Exactly. So we are 1-1.
And from what it seemed, the Death Shadow player boarded in Flusterstorm to combat all of the 7,000 counter spells that Blue Red has, which makes sense. It's really hard to pick the good situation. You asked if I would play Thoughtseize or the Ragavan. I think it's really hard because from turn 2 on, control deck will surely have almost. So you have a very short window at the beginning where you can play something, and then there's a chance that it will be bolted. So on the removal versus counterspell rate, you have 4 counterspell for Archmage Charm versus 1 Dead Gone, 1 Electrolyze, 1 Fire Ice, and 4 Lightning Bolts.
Fire Ice is sweet.
Fire Ice is.
You can also tapping the lands of the opponent.
Yeah, exactly. But this means that the chances that your opponent has a removal spell are slightly lower than chances that he or she has a counter spell. So I'd probably, now that I see this, I would probably go with play Ragavan and just hope that it sticks. It depends very much on your hand. If Ragavan's the only action that you have, I
have to be sure to protect it as well.
Yeah.
A general question: what do you think? Did Ragavan make Modern a better format, or?
I think Ragavan makes no format better. I think it's not much worse, but I think it's a very stupid creature in my view, because it's a 1 mana creature that has 2 power and makes card advantage plus mana advantage. Is something that few other creatures, if any, can boast. So from that point of view, I don't think that it made Modern better or anything. May have made Modern not work.
Let's also ask the chat. What do you think, dear viewers? Does Ragavan make Modern better or worse?
I think we saw in the last game that Ragavan was not that relevant, but yeah, again here we have the situation
again. Turn 1,
third game, yes, 3rd time's the charm. We see 3 for 3 from the tempo side. Ragavan turn 1. Okay.
Better. So we got
Ragavan's cool.
Mega Nice Boy. Better is more interactive. That's right. I mean,
absolutely,
there's more interaction with it. That's yeah.
I think
I would also agree.
Not just the Ragavan, but I think other things from Modern Horizons have made it so that there are now a lot of 4-color and controlish decks and flow decks, which I really like. For example, this blue-red control deck, we see a hand of the blue-red deck. This angle. Here. Counterspell, 2 times Archmage Charm, Relic of Progenitus, and 2 lands. So again, not the fastest hand, and now it's hard if.
But now we saw what we already discussed before. So the player on the right, turn 1, Ragavan, and then turn 2, the Thoughtseize.
And now you're
Ragavan is gone.
Yeah, now you're basically in the dump, because you know your opponent has 2 more counter spells. The next 2 action spells that you play are validated. Not clear if you, for the rest of the game, if you're ever able to stick anything. He took away the 1 card advantage spell that Blue Red has, the Archmage Charm. I think it's just hard.
It's really difficult. I mean, if he would, let's think in this world that he would play first the Thoughtseize, taking out Lightning Bolt, playing Ragavan on turn 2. There is
Yeah,
no
you
counter spell.
still
There is still the problem that with Archmage Charm, your opponent can
yeah
steal your Ragavan. So it is a really
yeah,
tricky question.
and I think that that's true for almost half of his deck. So you have 4 Ragavan, 4 Dragon Rage Channeler, and 4 Death Shadow, which the opponent can take over at instant speed. It's really, really, really bad.
I think
Do you agree with the choice of the control player to board in Relic of Progenitus?
for the control player,
I think on the tempo side you have 1 Snapcaster Mage, you have Kroxa for sure, and not Unholy Heat and Dragon Rage Chandler where you have a little bit of graveyard interaction.
but maybe it's also because of Lurus.
Yeah, I think
Kroxa.
that's the main reason.
Yeah, I
Lurus and
think it's
Kroxa.
not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. It's doing good, good stuff
it draws
now.
a card, yeah. And now if you're in the situation where you can play it turn 1 and then just activate it every turn.
Yeah, that's what the player does. And
Until you're. But I mean.
It's difficult if you don't have it on turn 1 or
then
in your first. You don't want it in late game.
It's a bit of a stinker, yeah. You can draw a card, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's also enough action to counter Lurus because you know when it will come. You need to take it earlier turn most of the time.
Okay, so here we see another discard spell now. It's quite good because the hand is full, but let's say
wow,
if
everything.
you look, it's like looking into a barrel of a gun like this. It's not very comfortable.
Oh, wow, this
so we
hand.
See counterspell, Archmage Charm, Lightning Bolt, a Dead Gone, and another Relic. So just a ton of action, and the shadow player knows that the next few cards will all be countered. He has an expressive iteration, but other than that, he also boarded in Terminate, it seems, till the Murktide region, which makes sense, but it's only the control player only plays 7 creatures in total. So I'm not sure if I agree there. Now you see that if you have
gets countered.
Most of the cards in the tempo player's hand are most of the hand in the tempo player's hand. The cards in the tempo player's hand are reactive cards like Lightning Bolt, like Unholy Heat. So it's really hard, and you can never, I say never, resolve Lurus because it's like worse. And also, if you resolve it, the opponent still. So I think I'd say advantage blue-red control probably at the moment.
Yeah, I think there is an advantage, but still, the player doesn't have
can only play one spell a turn.
Yeah, can only play one spell a turn. There is no win con at the moment, so
I mean, winning is
relative.
No, as a control player, I always say like going through the motions. Just needs a 2/1 flash creature to finish the job.
Yeah, I mean, if we can protect the creature,
absolutely, yeah.
It's absolutely doable, as we see before with the flyer, with the 3/1 flyer, which it's just enough.
Brazen Borrower,
exactly, Brazen Borrower. It's just enough. It's just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hand was full with backup counter and everything.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, another creature here from. Let's see how the control player counters it.
So you already know it will get countered.
No, I mean this is kind of difficult or dangerous.
Chase them.
Yeah. Can be bolted, can be thing. Okay. So now this is like the main way that the shadow deck could get back into play is through chaining expressive iterations and yeah, I the moment I have a hard time seeing how he wants to come back, so he solves the trigger, and
Suppression. The only thing to.
but he only here again he only drew reactive cards. He has a Flusterstorm. Now he again has no action except for Lurrus, which is one turn away. So see Brave again being removed. That player's hand. Everything is good on the control side of life.
And he cracks. But you also got a backup.
He has a second Relic of Progenitus. Yeah, cracks it to draw a card to finally get a fourth hand. As soon as he can double spell, like double spell or Archmage Charm, and he has now a Cryptic Command.
There we go again.
Yeah. So as long as he has a counterspell, he'll play the Relic, and it's still really difficult for the tempo player to get anything going. We see all these filler cards, more or less, the baubles, which take a turn to draw the card. Basically, now they're really bad because they make it so you draw your card next turn and then skip it. Oh, does he play the loop?
Yeah, there's the try.
Okay. Yeah. Ah, but he has Flusterstorm, so I think what he can get going here is he can replay his bauble, probably. Ah, okay. That's also taken care of.
It's also taken care of Lurrus.
Don't know if it comes play. He still has a lightning bolt and a counter spell, so even if he counters it and then gets Flusterstormed, he still has a lightning bolt to. Not much going on, but surely over time the Shadow deck has made some progress, and now the control player has not that many spells left except for Cryptic. Kind of hard. I think he'll probably Flusterstorm the card, then probably see a bolt.
I think it's very difficult at this stage. Do you counter Lurrus or do you bolt it? I mean, now we see the Flusterstorm.
Like this, he draws. It's like
problem.
Drawing a card for that Shadow player. He will immediately replay his bauble, hopefully. Yeah, and then Lurrus will. That's exactly as we have drawn it up 5 minutes ago, but.
But this is the moment for the Grixis player where his Kolaghan's command could shine. If there would not be that many counterspaces in the hand of his opponent. I think Kolaghan's command actually is a really nice card. It's very good. It's versatile.
It's all
you can play it in so many decks, and I mean times when Death Shadow was super good, super nice, and I was playing with my Jund against it. It was always the first card that you took out from my hand because always a coming back.
It's a 2/1, and he now has a. Well, he doesn't have a graveyard full of creatures because everything was
not
removed.
Anymore.
But yeah, we also see that I was very wrong. What I said about Relic of Progenitus, it really shines here. Makes most of the cards, or makes the tempo player's life miserable. And here we have a Death Shadow. It's medium-sized, but there are multiple Cryptic commands which can bounce and draw cards.
Ooh.
Okay.
So Spell Pierce.
This is a mediocre trade, and
question. Oh, there's another cryptic command.
There's a
Blood
cryptic command
Moon.
and a blood moon. Now the question is, can the control player play a blood moon, survive? Will
Doesn't really
he
make sense
will he
because there are
wait for next upkeep?
two fetch lands already
Yeah,
there for
that's
the
true.
Grixis players.
Makes
So
no sense. Yeah, so he'll just. Last time we saw that it was relevant that he waited turn, but now the opponent has four mana open. Yes, it makes absolutely for your opponent's upkeep and then bounce Death Shadow. The Death Shadow is a 7/7. No. Sorry, yeah. 5/5.
oh yeah,
We're-
8,
we're
5,
both-
5.
we're
Yeah,
both very bad at math.
Yeah, we're both very bad at math. Well, math is not that
Sure.
important for
Yeah.
playing Magic.
It's just a big creature.
overrated. It's a big boy.
Yeah. See what happens on the control side of life.
And there is Blood Moon.
Okay, so he does play Blood Moon. Goes way that I said, but it's probably not that good. Shadow player fetches, and from now on we'll probably only play one spell per turn, but
I think one problem is for the control player that it doesn't find more lands, for example.
yeah,
Because he
That's
also has
already-
Chase the Mind Sculptor in hand,
yeah.
which is a super nice card. You can play, you can brainstorm so many
And
times,
bounce the shadow. Yeah.
bounce the shadow. But the problem is you need some more backup lands. So for if there's
Yeah.
much more action coming the next turn from your opponent, so
Yeah, he
it's
was
difficult to play it.
This game was very dominated by the mana situation on the side. I think he had a very good hand, but unfortunately never drew any more.
And your finisher.
Yeah, I think the finisher. I mean, the opponent's on 4 life. Any snapcaster can win the
Yeah,
situation.
exactly.
In a lightning bolt, it's sufficient. But yeah, now the ice becomes thinner and thinner, and every spell pierce can be enough to.
The
Think lightning.
Ooh,
Oh,
bolt you?
go
12.
to 12, then
There. If there would be another bolt,
no,
it's
but I
like,
think
bye-bye.
it's goes to 1.
Boom.
Oh, what a
Grixis
game.
control player wins this match. Oh my
No,
goodness, but this
Not
is
the
what I
Grix-
said.
yeah, Grixis.
The
Shadow,
Grixis shadow player, yeah,
Yeah.
not control.
Wow, what a
mid-range player.
finish! What a finish!
But this is the
Photo
point that I
finish.
said. He's in bolt range, 3 life. This is can be so difficult then. Can be over so quick.
I, for the longest time, had the impression that the blue-red was in the match, but draw enough lands, and I think even the Lurus just drawing 1 card was quite good.
Yeah.
It drew out the counterspell and the lightning bolt, still drew a card. That's why where we see that Lurus is quite a good card. You heard it here first.